Hey, I'm Danielle Bayard Jackson, a certified friendship coach. Yes, it is a thing. And when it comes to the joys, complexities, and misunderstandings around female friendship, I am here to help you through it. You're breaking into a sweat just thinking about it. And for a lot of us, it really is anxiety inducing. And who can blame us? No one ever equipped us for how to manage this situation. Having a hard conversation with your friend. What do you say? Where do you say it? What if she blows up and overreacts? It's enough to make us avoid the whole thing altogether. But if you've been around for a while, you know that I'm always arguing that too many female friendships are ending prematurely simply because we're avoiding hard but necessary conversations. For many of us, we have our reasons. We justify why we're reluctant to have the talk. We tend to over-empathize as women, saying, I don't want to make her uncomfortable, so I won't bring it up. We are scared to push back against the cultural norm that expects women to be likable, and we see confrontation as a contradiction of that image. We don't want to be seen as making a big deal. We're mellow, we're cool, and so we downplay things that bother us because we don't want to change that characterization. And finally, for many of us, we just fear being abandoned by women we love. And what's ironic is with our friends, you would think we'd be very comfortable. We can bring anything to the table. But for some of us, because they're our friends, we don't want to bring anything up. But there are consequences to avoiding difficult conversations. One, you're going to find yourself becoming resentful because that dissatisfaction is going to manifest itself somehow. And a lot of times this comes out as sarcasm and passive aggression and looking at her with like these eye slits because we're so mad. That's one consequence of not mustering the courage to have the talk. Or worse, we go and complain about the situation to everybody else in our lives because we can't bring ourselves to say it to the woman who needs to hear it the most. And finally, we ghost her because we don't know the words, we're too scared to go and search for them, and so we slowly, gradually distance ourselves until the friendship dissolves. But the reality is that platonic intimacy, closeness, and understanding is often on the other side of that difficult conversation, so it's worth having. But where do we start? Let me walk you through an exercise, and I want you to do it with me, come on, in real time. I want you to think about the main reason you are avoiding a conversation with a friend. Got it? You probably thought something like, I don't want her to go and tell her other friends. I don't want her to distance herself from me. I don't want her to get mad. Okay. Whatever that fear is that you just said should be your opening sentence. Here's how that works. Hey, I've been avoiding this conversation with you because the last thing I want is for you to get upset and to pull away. But I'm thinking that if we want to solve this and I want this thing to work out, that I have to bring it up. So I got to say something. The reason this approach is effective is because it immediately disarms the other person. And instead of coming at her in an accusatory way that has her on the defense, I'm telling her that my main objective in having the conversation is because I want us to reconcile. I want us to be good. I want us to be close, and I want us to have fun. And if we position the conversation in that way, well, then who doesn't want to participate in it? The second thing I want you to do after you get clear on your fear and you know how to use it for your opening line is to develop questions that you want to ask during the conversation. Because too often we prepare our points. And our goal in going into that difficult conversation is to help her understand all the ways she's wrong or she's offensive or annoying and how we were wrong and offended. And who wants to sign up to hear that? Nobody. We should be taking an attitude of curiosity. You should be seeing that conversation as an opportunity to understand where she's coming from so you can get more information, have clarity on, that's why you said that thing that you said. So perhaps that looks like this. Hey, so the other night you said something and my first thought was to be offended and I thought maybe I took it the wrong way. So can you help me? What did you really mean when you said that? That's one way of coming to her as if I don't know everything and I'm eager to understand where she's coming from. And it also gives the benefit of the doubt to perhaps I'm misinterpreting the entire situation in the first place. After you develop your questions, then you want to practice. And I know that sounds silly, but here's why. Oftentimes, we're really clear on what we want to say, what we want to ask, and how this is going to go. But then our emotions tend to catch up with us, and we backtrack, and we apologize, and we do things that kind of dilute our message, like, but I don't know, I could be crazy. will make a good point and say, but I don't know, maybe that's in my head. And it totally discredits the point that you brought to the table. So sometimes, yeah, it's worth taking a couple minutes to practice what you want to say confidently and directly with compassion, but without getting caught up in emotions and forgetting your point or dismissing your feelings. And finally, try to find a collaborative solution. So again, whenever we go into conversations, we have a script of exactly how it's going to go and how we want it to end. But if I'm entering the conversation with questions because I want to unpack what's going on with her and I want to understand where she's coming from, I want to make her understand that I want to work together on what the solution is instead of trying to persuade her to do what I want her to do, something that's been predetermined. So perhaps at the end of the conversation, working to figure out what you both will do the next time that awkward situation comes up or the next time somebody says that weird thing. But if you come up with a plan together, then each person's more likely to buy in and participate for the long run. I know that these kinds of talks make us nervous and they feel risky, and for some friendships, they are. But if there's even a slight chance that that conversation will actually bring you two closer together, then it's worth having. Hey, thanks for watching today's video. If you're looking for more support on your journey toward better female friendships, then you should consider becoming a Friend Forward member, a space where we have virtual events, coaching exercises, and an opportunity to connect with women just like you.